It's time to make some questionable raid decisions. Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're going to have some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we're here on the main. We are going to be pulling some shards because we have the Summon Rush event for the new fusion Titus, and I am definitely going for him on the main. I am still not sure what I'm going to be doing on the free-to-play, so I will probably have a video on Monday, either of the shard pulls that I decide to do, because I'm probably going to decide to do them on Sunday for that account, or maybe I'll just do an update on the account if I don't do something. So I will have a free-to-play video posted on Monday for you guys, because I know you guys love the series, and I know you guys do like that stuff. And if it's a shard pull video, then hopefully it will be something absolutely amazing. It'll get me some game changers on that account. But for now, we're talking about my main, which is certainly doesn't need as many game changers as my free-to-play. We are in a much more blessed position. I have 8 sacred shards over there, but I've got a plan, and we're going to talk about this plan, why it's probably not a great plan for most people, and we'll just take a look at the event quickly first. So first of all, we have the Summon Rush event right here, and this is pretty reasonable, actually. It is 3,000 to get to the this dude here, which is the 6 sacreds I usually expect this to be on. But the rewards are pretty decent here. If you actually had an extra one getting, 75 twisted horns here, this gives you an epic craft, which is not too bad. That is mildly tempting, but I'm gonna be saving some shards. I'm probably gonna hit this and pretty much stop. We'll see. Legendary shards, again, only 75. They really like to tease you on this stuff, and if you really want to go ham, well, you can get yourself all the way up to this mythical Stilmstone. That is going to cost you 20 sacreds. Unfortunately, it looks like they did not actually increase the value of primals like I kind of thought they might. That said, they might do it in the Summon Rush that we're going to have on Tuesday and Wednesday for Siege. Weird we're going to have one for Siege, but I guess that makes sense considering they don't want to give us the CVC rewards with a Summon Rush as well, so not too surprising there. But in general, these are pretty good. In fact, pulling now might make some sense just because the Mortal Soulstone is actually not a bad thing right now because it is still a increased rate of the Soulstones here. I pulled a bunch of Mortal Soulstones and decided I was not going to shoot a video on it because honestly I think Soulstone pull videos not too great. They tend not to do particularly well, and honestly they're mostly just disappointing, so I figured I'd spare you guys the disappointment on my own account and let you experience it for yourself. That said, I do think it's a good time to pull the Mortal Soulstones now, especially if you have a bunch of Immortals like I do here and maybe even Eternals, because I suspect we will have a chance to get an event or a champion here for with these Soulstones with a card event of some kind. I think they mentioned that again. They have done that the past couple of events, so I'm kind of expecting it. But you really need Immortals and Eternals, and the Mortal Soulstones don't really help you that much, and you can build those up a lot faster. So I figured it was a good time to pull them. Did not get anything particularly exciting, very unfortunate, but it is what it is. So as far as my plan is concerned here, as you can see, I don't have a lot of shards. I went fishing for Admiral Black Tusk and got a dupe Monkey King, which, not bad. I don't have a lot of Void shards because those are building back up after the 2x. I certainly could get myself more ancient shards with a few gems if I needed to, and you build those up pretty fast. I've got some mystery shards, but I'm certainly running low. So the question is, do I pull sacred shards and do I pull 6 of these puppies, or do I do what I think I'm probably going to do here and pull 10 primals and then 2 sacreds? Now, primals are going to get me most of the way there with 10 primals because that's going to get me 2,000 points, and then I need 1,000 more points, so that's 2 sacred shards and we're done. Why would I pull primals right now? Because it is not a 2x mythical, but it is a double legendary and a double epic, so you can get some interesting and useful stuff here if you're looking for it. There's always still the chance of a mythical, so it's, hit or miss, and to be fair, a 0.5% chance is not huge on only 10 primals. It's probably not the best decision, but for making the fusion and keeping myself 6 sacred shards that I know I will have 6 sacred shards available for the next Summon Rush, which I do want to hit, as well as I will have hopefully some more shards and some other stuff to pull for the Summon Rush at the end of next week. I'll have a chance to get a few more sacred shards because, I'll have, I think I still have, well, not sacred shards because I don't have Doom Tower anymore for that, but there will be a chance to earn more sacred shards. I'll probably get 1 or 2 during the week minimum as well. Maybe some more, hopefully Clan Boss is good to me, but we are going to aim for the primal shards. And the other thing is here, this progressive chance, not too bad. Elva is a great champion. If I was pulling on my free-to-play, that's probably the person I would pick here. Fabian, very good champion. In fact, that's probably who I'm going to pick on this account because I think a dupe Fabian does more for me than this dude right here. This dude looks interesting. He could be kind of fun to build, but a +1 Fabian would be more interesting and more useful on this account. And of course, of any of these champions, Deacon, great, Stag, great, Ulfrig, yeah, whatever. If you don't have him for the Mikage fusion, then he's a good person to possibly try to pull for. If you don't have a Deacon, Deacon's amazing. If you don't have a Stag, Stag is amazing. So the Epic's pretty good on this case. So we will pull for those guys here, but we are going to start off with pulling 10 primals. Maybe I'll get a mythic. I don't think I'm near my mythic mercy because I've gotten very, very lucky on primals recently. And I do think I might be near my legendary mercy. I don't know, but we do have the 2% chance. Of course, as always, we do have Pepsi here and available. Pepsi is not a sponsor, but think of it, Pepsi, you could be. It would be a lot of fun. Everyone wants it to happen. Just let's quit this anticipation, quit this dance, and let's make this sponsorship happen. You can do it. I believe in you. At least I try to believe in you. So, Pepsi in hand, 10 shot of primals. Let's get something kind of cool. Okay, epic there. What, mythical? Wow. Ooh, 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 ooh. I was not expecting a mythical, and Ashnar is the type of mythical I have been looking for on this account. That is absolutely amazing. I'm going to repeat this again. I still don't think this is a good time to pull mythicals for most accounts. I am doing it because it made sense for me to not spend money and to get this fusion. But that is absolutely impressive. This guy got a buff recently, and he is a beast of a champion now. He's got all kinds of fun uses, and I might be able to actually finish the event dungeon with this dude because he does some fun stuff with burns. This is going to be interesting. So I might be able to actually change my strategy with the event dungeon and maybe get the event dungeon working. So what does Ashnar do? Well, first of all, he's going to help the Orcs faction. He is a mythic. Any of the mythicals are going to help your hard faction wars because they just do. But he is an absolute beast of a burn champion and can actually do some pretty decent damage too. Got a 3-time attacking here. Each hit has a 50% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. Each hit has a 100% chance of increasing the duration of an HP burn debuff on the target by 1 turn instead, if the initial chance does not activate it. So basically, he either increases the duration of every debuff, or he increases just the HP burn. So, and he's an HP-based damage dealer, so that's kind of nice. Here we go. Attacks on enemies, instantly activates all HP burns, instantly activates all HP debuffs on all enemies and allies. It sounds weird, but we'll get to its passive, which makes this like a lot more sense. However, an HP burn debuff is, whenever an HP debuff is activated on an enemy by this skill, decreases the resistance by 10, which is amazing. Whenever an HP burn is activated on an ally, increases their resistance by 10, stacks up to 100%. So you can get more resistance and or drop the enemy resistance. Very useful skill overall, kind of fun. Also fills the turn meters of all allies by 5% for each HP burn debuff activated on enemies. So turn meter boost, damage, nukage, and HP burn activation. And this does even more because activating HP burn on your allies does some cool stuff. Finally here, places weaken debuff and HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. This is a place, which means it will actually go behind the poisons. So if you have somebody that has, not even somebody, but if you have somehow let the poison cloud get up on the Hydra, you can actually use him in Hydra as a damage dealer to put HP burn and weaken, which effectively nullifies the poison clouds, which is kind of nice. Also places HP burn on all allies for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be blocked or resisted, then fills the turn meters of all allies by 30%. That's absolutely amazing as well. Finally, his passive, which is why would you want to put HP burn on your team? Well, each HP burn debuff placed by this champion when in their base form, which is on both the enemy and the ally, increases his max HP and defense by 5%, stacks up to 25% across both forms and will not reset. So, on the very first turn, that he uses as A3, he's going to put it on his 4 or 5 teammates, he's including himself. That is going to give him the 25% boost to max HP and defense. Well, he's a defense or an HP-based champion in either form. He's an HP-based in this form. I think he might be defense in the other form. I'm not sure. Regardless, he basically increases the amount of damage he can do, plus makes himself tankier. HP burn debuff placed on allies heal them instead of damaging them. So he nullifies Volcanos. So he is a 100% Volcanos counter with this passive, which is absolutely amazing. It also means that if he's in Stone Skin, he can't get the Stone Skin burned off, which is one of the ways you can counter Stone Skin. There are certainly other ways to counter Stone Skin, but he nullifies Volcanos, and he nullifies some of the HP burn strategies of a Gizmak, and he nullifies, in the case we're going to talk about with the event boss, he's going to nullify the event boss's Volcanos. So that's no longer an issue, which is why I think he might be able to do something with the event boss now with Ashnar, which could be kind of fun. Allies deal 3% more damage for each active HP burn debuff, which is on everybody. So he has a flat damage boost increase for HP burn, which could be, 15% just for people on his own ally team, or even 12% if it's an arena. And then if he's got him on the other team, that's another 12%, in Hydra, for example, 24% flat damage buff for everybody if there's 8 burns out there. That is absolutely huge. Not only that, there's no cap on that. So think about sticking him in Spider, light everybody on fire, and see what kind of damage you can do. Could be fun. So let's take a look at his other form. And in fact, he kind of looks kind of cool here too. However, when we swap the forms, and yeah, kind of looks pretty cool. I mean, to be fair, he's not like as dramatic of some of the mythicals, but I kind of like this fact. He's got looks a little more kind of priestly here, and then this is definitely more of an orc warrior form here. Certainly not as cool as some other mythicals as far as the looks go, but still a very cool look overall. And again, I think the orcs kind of have a theme, and he fits in with that orc theme. Maybe it's bland, I don't know, but it's still nice. So he still has the HP burn heal on this particular one here. He still has the HP burn passive where he gets the extra max HP and defense. Now it has to be placed on his base form, but you do that A3, open up, and then you've got all that permanently, so it's not a big deal. All of this champion skills will ignore 20% of the enemy's defense if they are under HP burn. So this champion in this form is now a defense-based nuker. He gets his defense and his max HP up a bit, so you want to kind of build him with a little bit of both, but I could actually see building him more defense-oriented to be able to smack in this form than HP-based, because the other one is not a major damage dealer other than it is as far as activating burns. So let's take a look at the rest of the kit here. Decreased defense, each hit, and he has a 25% chance of repeating the attack, which happens every time he repeats the attack. So basically he has a Fushan level A1 that's a double hitter to start, that can become a quad hitter, that can become a 6 hitter, that can become an 8 hitter. It gets kind of nuts. And it has decreased defense on every hit. And it just places it too. It's not even a percentage chance. And you're going to be able to this guy with accuracy because you need it for all the other burns and stuff too. So that is actually really, really cool. And if for some reason you get 3% out of that first decrease, you should have in the second one. So this is not quite a guaranteed decreased defense because it's not irresistible. So you could get double 3%ed, or you could get out resisted in some way, shape, or form. I didn't realize this. This buff debuff chance is on this base repeating hit. So this goes from a 25 to a 40% chance when buffed. This would be a killer of an A1. I don't know the multipliers on this. I'm going to have to look that up. That's kind of interesting. 40% chance of repeating each hit. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'll read this again. Repeating each hit means that he is going to it's basically 40% chance. So he has a 2-hitter that could be up to a 4-hitter. So it is not a Fushan level repeat the skill. It is up to a 2 to 4 hitter. Still good. And that means that most likely you're going to land this decreased defense. And at a 40% chance, you've got a decent shot at getting 3 of them almost every time. Still decent. I like it. Magma Geyser. Attacks one enemy, applies a debuff spread effect, taking all debuffs on the target and placing them on all enemies. This is super powerful, especially if you pick your target. This is a good way to keep burns up. This is a good way to spread other wonderful debuffs that you might have trouble getting on other champions. If they are irresistible or protected debuffs, like for example, if you pair him with a Carnage, these will still spread. So that's absolutely amazing. Then repeats the attack on all enemies. So he attacks one enemy, then repeats the attack on everyone else after he does the debuff spread. Increase the duration of all debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. Both attacks will ignore 20% of each target's defense. So he ignores defense here. He also ignores additional defense with his passive if there's burns on them. He spreads burns as well, so you attack somebody that has burns up first to hit them and then spread the damage. And then you increase the duration of all of these things as well. So for burns, that gives you an extra tick of burn if you want to ignite it later on. Gives you all kinds of cool advantages with other debuffs as well. So we're already ignoring 40% of most people's defense with this, assuming you have burns up as well, which is actually kind of cool. Finally, attacks all enemies. Before attacking, places an increased defense buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. So increased defense will at least help protect everybody, and the increased crit damage is extra damage for him as well as everyone else. And then he puts a provoke debuff for 1 turn. If the target of this skill is a boss, places a provoke debuff for 2 turns instead. Oh, yes, that makes sense for Hydra. Cannot be a weak hit when hitting enemies under HP burn. Okay, so this may be one of the few champions that I have really seen that I would want to run in a Hydra team, where I would want this guy bouncing back and forth between forms. I certainly could see pairing him with another HP burner, so you have him put the burns out to start, and then he changes to this form and just keeps going and going, and somebody else puts the burns out. But his ability to take burns, ignite them, extend them, and then get back into this form and just absolutely nuke the hell out of absolutely everything. Plus he gets provoke out occasionally as well. He's not going to be a consistent provoker if you have him constantly changing back and forth, but both forms are very usable in Hydra, meaning that I could actually see building him to constantly swap forms, especially if he was fairly fast. Now that would certainly eat into his damage a little bit, but this dude is absolutely amazing. They did a wonderful job when they buffed him. He was bad, and they really did a great job buffing him. He's also got an aura. He's got a 35% HP in all battles aura. Good HP aura. I'm actually a little surprised he doesn't have a defense aura. A lot of mythicals seem to have HP auras, and that's fine. So a defense aura would have been kind of fun too, but HP auras are good. They're still usable. In fact, they're a little more usable in arena than a defense-based aura in most cases, because HP generally trumps defense as far as a defensive skill in arena. But this dude is absolutely amazing. Pepsi coming in clutch. I mean, think about that sponsor. Think of it, good example right here. This is how Bront gets sponsored by Pepsi, pulling mythicals. Got to duck the Pierce too. Love this dude. Decrease defense and decrease attack. Can do a bunch of damage. He's got a backup provoke. Hotatsu, pretty good. Gives you the increased defense and decreased defense and some healing. Torture Helm, not great. Rosin Fusion if you need him. Good pull overall. Duck is a great champion. I think I need to empower mine still. I think I may to finish empowering my Hotatsu. Yeah, not going to complain about this shard pull at all. And hey, we still have 2 primals to pull, or 2 sacreds to pull, I should say. We just pulled 10 primals. So, hey, we got 2 left to pull. We got some Pepsi in hand. We have already hit everything I would need to. So honestly, these could be crap epics, and I'm fine with it. Let's get something cool though. Yelena. I did not like Yelena, but I saw Ash do a video where he did one of his shard pulls, and then he built all the champions out. And Yelena proved to be interesting. Enough so that I'm probably going to make sure I keep her and stash her away, because she could be interesting. You got the increased attack on the A1. If she kills somebody, it's okay. Attacks all enemies, AoE decreased defense, or decrease attack on 100%. This also does some good damage. She actually can be a damage dealer, which is good. Attacks one enemy, puts block buffs and block active skills. To be fair, I didn't like her at the time because block active skills had not proven to be a super useful skill, and this has turned into something amazingly useful. The big weird thing about this attack is always critical, but if you're building her for damage, you're going to build her with full crit rate anyway because you need it for the other skills. And then finally, she has a revival of one random ally if she kills a target, which given she can actually do damage, you can build her to kill targets, could be useful. So she could actually be a useful epic for you to build for your Cursed City floors if she comes up in a Cursed City floor. I think Zargala is another good one in the same vein of a good orc damage dealers. Orcs generally have some pretty decent damage dealers in the epics. Legendaries are a little mixed as far as that's concerned, but they're epics, solid damage dealers. And Mistress of Hems, the less said about her, the better. This is a horrible, horrible epic revive. 2 random allies, not that great. And she does a continuous heal, and then she heals based on damage inflicted. So you need to build her for some damage, and her stats aren't great, and she's slow. Yeah. Don't build a Mistress of Helms if you can avoid it. If you get one early and you need a reviver early in Sacred Order, there's no reason to not keep her and build her to 4 stars and eventually turn her into a 5-star chicken or something like that. But do not invest in Mistress of Hymns. You will regret it. You will not be happy with it. So, hey, that is an absolutely awesome shard pull. I have been absolutely blessed. That is amazing. And no, stop it. Polarium, stop it. Hey, you got a mythical. Want to buy stuff? Yeah. That is absolutely amazing. I am super stoked. I have been looking forward to round out my mythics, just to kind of show you guys where my mythics are. And we'll make sure I go in the vault as well, because I think I have somebody in the vault. But yeah, I've got great, but a damage dealer. Great, good support too. I've had some fun with Azarius, but he also is a good damage dealer. Got Toshiro, damage dealer. Ophidius, damage dealer, although he does some control, and I've been super happy with him in Faction Wars Hard. Garol, who, I guess is an okay damage dealer, but I've never been super impressed with her, although to be fair, I think this build is very mid. Carnage, great damage dealer. Embers, great damage dealer. Frolny, great damage dealer. Well, now I have Ashnar somewhere down here. In fact, there we go. And yes, he is a damage dealer, but he is a damage dealer with some interesting utility that provides some additional support. And there are possibly reasons to build him super tanky for some PvE content where I can actually, use him out. So he is going to get 6-starred. He is going to get 60. Well, he's already 6-starred. He's going to get 60. He's going to get mastery, going to get built. I will see. It's probably going to be a week or two, but I will put together a guide for this dude as well. I think he is absolutely amazing, though. I've built him on another account for somebody else, and proved to be very useful on that account. I'm excited. I got really, really unlucky early with primals. Early on in primals, I went to Mercy before I got my very first mythical I pulled from shards. In that video, which I will probably link to at the end of this one, because it's actually kind of amazing, go check it out, I pulled 4 mythicals in that video. It was absolutely amazing. And I've never seen shard pulls like it and don't expect to see them again. But I have since gotten lucky with Ophidius, and I've since gotten lucky with Ashnar now. So, and I've gotten lucky with Lazarius. So I've been hitting mythicals pretty regularly on this account of late, which is, kind of nice, especially considering I haven't been buying primals other than once. So, you guys have a wonderful day. I really hope that your shard pulls give you some absolutely amazing champions. One final disclaimer again, I am not recommending pulling more primals for people. I think that in most cases, you have to make a decision. Is it worth pulling a primal because you're going to, lower your chance of getting a mythical? Or are you okay with missing out on a chance to get a mythical because you're worried about getting this fusion? I was okay with it, and I did the math and decided that it made sense for me. But honestly, I think for a lot of accounts, it's probably not going to make a lot of sense. I will tell you a bit of a spoiler. If I pull shards on my free-to-play, I am probably pulling primals on that one as well. But that has a lot to do with the fact that the epic rates and the legendary rates being so high mean that on that account, I have a good chance of getting a game changer champion just with the primals as well. And yeah, if I end up without getting a mythical on that account can still be transformed by good epics. So in that case, I think it actually may be not the most unreasonable thing, but still primals are such a such a big thing. Unless you're going for Curiosa. That's the other thing. If you're going for Curiosa, now's not a bad time to pull for her. I know there are several whales out there that are going to spend a ton on primals because they want to collect every mythical. And you know what? A 10x rate up for Curiosa is actually a good chance to get her. So from that perspective, you could certainly do worse than pulling her for this event as well. So anyway, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I've been gushing over this guy for a while, but this is absolutely amazing, and I am super happy. And I hope that your shard pulls go just as well as mine, maybe even better. You get something absolutely amazing and a game changing for your account. Have a wonderful day, and until the next video, I am Bront CatHerder.